evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So, before I introduce our illustrious guest, who I'm excited to introduce you to, I want to remind you to, of course, check out the Phone Booth Podcast.substack.com, where you can see all of the lovely podcasts from all of us here at the Phone Booth Podcast. The original, the OG Phone Booth Podcast, of course. Philosopher King Podcast. Here we are. Pick is in. We got a Super Bowl special this Saturday, so tune in at 11 o'clock EST. Here's the Thing Podcast. Dualistic, Mind of Madness, Fasting Fake, Detoxing the Matrix, Translucid, and The Meyer Show, of course, and so many others to come. But anyway, so we appreciate you guys subscribing and checking us out. Now, the gentleman I have joining us this evening, I'm thrilled. Um, I think we've known each other for probably almost 2 years now, but we've had only a handful of conversations ever in English, because typically we speak to each other in Italian. Because we met in this group of Italian speakers. And so he's a wonderful gentleman who has his own podcast as well, which I'll let him tell you about. But without further ado, my good friend Laz. Welcome, Laz. Lazaro.
Yes, thank
Lazar.
you so much
I'm not.
for
I'm not
yes,
used to saying your name in English.
yeah. It feels unnatural even for me to speak to you in English. I'm so used to speaking to you in Italian.
It's true. It's true. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking time out of your Wednesday evening to spend with me here.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you.
So, yeah. Well, so I know. So you and I met on an Italian. It's like a Italian speaking group which meets on Fridays, and then we had like kind of a more of a philosophical deep dive Italian group on Sunday mornings. But just so that people can get to know you a little bit better, can you share a little bit more about your background, and then maybe plug your podcast a little bit as well?
All right. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm excited to be here. My name is Lazare. I am originally from the Republic of Congo in Central Africa and moved to the US in 2010. From South Africa to the
Okay.
US in 2010. And I lived in South Africa as a refugee for 9 years
Okay.
before I moved to the US. So it is a long story,
Hmm.
which I ended up writing about my story. Uh, every time people ask me where I was from and tell me a bit about yourself, and I told them a little bit, and they were interested, and they encouraged me to write a story. So to write about my story, which I ended up writing. So in a book, which I self-published a long time ago.
Wonderful. What's the name of that book?
The name of the book is Anarchy in the South of Congo. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Oh, well, nice. That's a
yeah,
great job on the cover work there.
yeah.
The artwork on
Um,
the cover.
that
That's
wasn't me.
looks very nice. Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it. So that is, in the nutshell, my story.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So yeah, so what specifically, so was it in 2010 is when you came to the States, you said, right?
Yeah.
So
2000.
2001-ish is when you fled the Congo to South Africa.
Yeah, to South Africa. Yeah.
So just for a little context and to understand a little better, what was going on in the Congo that compelled you to
Mhm.
leave?
It was a civil war
Okay.
in the Republic of Congo,
Yeah.
North versus South. And me being from the South, I was in danger,
Yeah.
uh, like many young people.
Yeah.
We were being persecuted by the government. So my father decided it was no longer safe for me to stay there.
Yeah.
And I moved to South Africa, where my older brother, lived at the time.
Okay.
So then in South Africa, I lived there as a refugee for 9 years. And then in South Africa, I met my wife,
Okay.
who's from Michigan. But that was towards the end of my stay in South Africa. I was planning on returning to the Republic of Congo because it was more or less peaceful and more
Hmm.
stable. And I was saving up money to return to Congo. And when I met my wife, we started talking.
Plans changed.
Yes.
So she brought. So you came with her back to that here to the states then.
Um, uh, yeah, it was complicated because in order for me to come to the US, we had to prove that we'd been together for a while.
Mm,
So we had to be in a long distance relationship for 2 years
okay, that's tough.
before I qualified for a visa to come to the
Okay,
US. Yeah.
very
And then
good.
it's been 15 years.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
15 years.
and I've seen from other streams as well. You've got a couple little munchkins running around, right?
Yes, two kids running around, driving me insane. But I'm so grateful to have my children.
That's
You
wonderful.
know, something mysterious, I would say, happened every time I had my children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the firstborn, my dad passed away
Mm.
when my wife was pregnant. You know, then I
Uh,
had my son,
yeah.
and then when my mom passed away, my wife was pregnant again. I had my second child.
Oh wow.
So helped me. They helped me recover faster.
Mm,
Yeah.
just kind of fill that gap.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was between, sorrow, joy,
Wow.
sadness, but eventually, babies are they look so innocent, peaceful.
Yeah.
Just beholding their faces, helped me overcome the
Isn't it
loss.
incredible
Yeah.
the so I have a daughter and
Mhm.
I the most impressive thing to me was how much my mindset on all of life changed. Not once the baby was born, but the moment I found out that my wife was pregnant, my
Mhm.
wife at the time was pregnant. It
Mhm.
was like, okay,
Yes.
this is real,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Um, and then holding that little beautiful little child in my arms for the first time was
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful things that's ever happened to me. Yeah.
That's right. It is. It is life changing, and the other thing was that after I had my children, I started caring more about every child.
Mm,
Like I would take my children to the park, but my eyes would be everywhere. I'm making sure all the children at the park were safe,
yeah.
they were fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just the instinct kicked in.
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. No, it's really a mystery that we're invited into the act of creation
Mm,
through being a parent, that when the creator brings another soul into this world,
yeah.
he
Hmm.
enlists our help, so to speak,
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. We're entrusted with the responsibility to protect them, to
Hmm.
love them, to teach them, to help them
Hmm. Yeah.
navigate this complex world.
And one thing that really I feel like being a parent really taught me is when you it helped me understand why God lets us make mistakes. Because when your child is trying to to walk for the first time. You want to protect them and make sure that if they don't fall and hurt themselves, or when they're trying to climb up a step for the first time or climb up onto a seat, and
Mhm.
you like your instinct as a father is to protect and make sure they don't fall or make sure they don't, but you realize that it's in pushing their limits, allowing them to push their limits, allowing them to fall, allowing them to fail, so to speak, is actually super beneficial for them. So there's this war inside of your heart between trying to protect and trying to let go to let them grow, It's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yes. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He has a son who's now who turned 17 years old, and he's been trying to mold him and shape him into the person he pictures
Yeah.
in his mind, and it's been frustrating for him. It's
Hmm.
been a struggle because sometimes he fails to understand that although the kid is my kid, but he's still a person. he's, still,
Yeah.
he's still a person. So, and I've been trying to tell him to let go. That
Hmm.
is also one of the lessons that I've been learning having children, to let go,
Hmm.
sometimes to let go. Still be a good parent by speaking. So when they're older, they won't say, "My dad never told me this, never
Hmm.
taught me this." I will speak, but I will not try to force my way or my ways on you.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it's interesting because I think, especially, yeah, being a father, and I mean, I don't know what it's like. Neither of us know what it's like to be a mother, but
Yeah.
as a father specifically,
Mm.
it's interesting to me how, yeah, that idea of respecting the free will of the child, much like God respects our free will, but at the
Mhm.
same time teaching,
Mhm.
there are certain things that I remember my mother saying growing up, that still ring in my head when things happen. Like one is she would always say, "What you think of me is
Mhm.
none of my business." And I love that because it teaches you not to worry about what other people think of you,
Yeah.
because it's not your business what they think of you.
Yes. Yeah.
But little things like that, that
Yeah.
over little by little
Yeah.
just kind of are ingrained.
That's right.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So to your point about like having that prudence to know that your words will have effect, even if not now, at
Hmm.
some point,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
It's
beautiful.
it's when they are um for me, for my experience with my children, when they were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I was laying down the foundation,
Hmm.
structuring and molding them
Hmm.
through repetition and discipline and
Hmm.
showing them and so on. But now they're slightly older, I can have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can have a conversation with them and say, okay, you see, and if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, I find it's still sometimes challenging, but it gets easier as I grow older because I can have a conversation,
Hmm.
and I can also, what I'm learning now is to let go. Um, is to let go because the frustration, it's not, I don't want it.
Well, it's interesting because so in St. Paul says in Scripture, he says when he's talking about teaching the
Mhm.
faith, which I
Mhm.
think can be also applied to teaching children. He
Mhm.
says, "When you were young, I gave you the milk for a child, but now that you are older, I can give you the meat
Yeah.
of nutrition."
Yeah.
And I wonder sometimes if that's a good analogy for like how we deal with a child.
Hmm.
is much more spoon fed, so to speak. But
Hmm.
then as they get older, now it's not, they can't just drink the nutrition for their soul or for their character or for their mind or for their life, but they've
Hmm.
got to put in the work as well. Now they have to chew.
Hmm.
They've got to bite, they've got to chew, they've got to cut the meat, they've got,
Hmm.
there's that more active participation on their part
Hmm.
in that self growth and self nutrition.
Yeah.
And through conversation is a great, it's a great
Yeah.
way. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And what's also interesting about this educating children, it is not universal. There is no universal way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I come from a culture where it's my way or the highway,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the main values. Okay, I can ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Just what's the most important value in your culture, growing up, being raised in the US, growing up here? What's the most important value off the top of your
Oh,
head?
off the top of my head, Um, I don't know. I would say possibly respect or reliability,
Okay.
dependability, or honesty. Kind of
Yeah.
those three are real close at the top.
Okay. And if you asked me the same question without even thinking, I'm going to tell you respect.
There you go.
And that is massive in my culture where I was born and where I grew up and where I was educated. And if someone is older than you, you respect them.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was a shock to me when I first went to South Africa and I saw how some young people were speaking to older guys because I never saw that in my country, and it was a shock. And then I came to the US. I see how.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I lament.
Mhm.
I think my upbringing in some ways was a little bit unique in the sense of that attentiveness to respect, because I think at least respect of elders is not such a big
Mhm.
thing in our culture here anymore, which is I
Mhm.
think a lamentable thing. But excuse me,
Mhm.
when I ran an after school and care and like a summer camp as well back when I was in my college years, and I had this interesting experience where there was, for the summer camp, there was a child that had come over from Korea,
Mhm.
and his family, he didn't speak a word of English.
Mhm.
And I saw he was running afraid and hiding in the bathroom and trying to grab his backpack and run out every day because he was just afraid and he
Mhm.
didn't understand what was going on. He didn't understand the culture. And so I was like, okay, well, after the first day or so, when I realized what was going on and kind of hit this situation this poor child was in, I went and I studied about Korean culture, and I learned a few phrases in Korean so that I could help him be at ease, so that I could take care of him and protect him and
Mhm.
make sure he wouldn't run away scared. But one of the things I discovered in my exploration of this culture to try to connect with him was that a this respect for the elders. So if you were an elder, you never handed somebody something with your hand under it. You had your hand on top of it to put it down into their hand, and vice versa. And so there were so many things, not just that, but also like if he would never look up into our eyes, which is very common in US culture,
Mhm.
he would always look down, and
Mhm.
that was him being respectful. And if I looked into his eyes, it was like he wasn't used to that either. And so like it was interesting, like by doing these little things where I would hand him his lunchbox with my hand on top of the box, putting these little things, all of a sudden made him comfortable, and then he was attached to me like
Mhm.
but it
That's
was just interesting how even in the hand motions
Mhm.
and the body language,
Yeah.
respect was so ingrained in that culture, which I really think
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing. Yeah.
In my culture too. But you know what's what's funny now when sometimes I have a conversation with my friends back in the Republic of Congo or my sister who lives in Canada, or people from Africa, many of them, when I'm speaking, when we're having a conversation and they cannot look me in the eyes, I feel so uncomfortable,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and that didn't used to happen when I lived in Africa. I suppose I'm more Americanized now, so
Yeah. Well, so in the Congo, then is it pretty much as well? Like you don't look in the eyes of someone who you
yeah,
respect, who's in a
yeah,
elder.
yeah.
Interesting.
You don't, yeah,
Well, and unfortunately, in our culture, oftentimes, people don't, people's parents, you just put them in a nursing home or put them in a assisted care, like, and nobody
Ugh,
takes care of their own, and it's such a sad thing.
yes. That breaks my heart, and I keep telling my wife that I will not do that. I will not go to a nursing home. So I keep
Hmm.
exercising, trying to eat, the right diet.
Yeah,
And I keep saying, when we're older, I'll be strong enough to take care of you and take care of me so we don't have to go to a nursing home.
there you go. Yeah,
Oh, that's
that's why I
funny.
think one of the things I
Mm,
think
mm,
is lost that I would love to bring back if I could
mm,
wave a wand and
mhm.
change our culture would be multi-generational homes where you have the grandparents, the parents, and the children all
Yeah,
living together in
yeah,
one household
yeah,
or on at least on one property where like
yeah,
maybe 5 acres with grandparents house over here,
yeah.
your kids have their house over there so everybody can look out and take care of each
Mhm.
other. I think that's a beautiful thing.
You describing life in the Republic of Congo. That's how it is.
Let's go.
Yeah. It is not
um,
perfect, but in that area, I can say, yeah, I love it. Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have grandparents and you have children and you have grandkids. We all live, under the same roof,
yeah, yeah.
and
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
I mean, I think it was that way in the States until
mhm,
the 20th century, until mid
mhm,
20th century. I think a lot of families
mhm.
stayed close to each other,
Yeah,
if not in the same home, very close.
yeah,
Now, I mean, I've got family in Pittsburgh, family in Idaho, family in Indiana, family. I mean, I'm in Georgia. I mean, we're all over the place.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I have slightly a situation similar to yours. My sister lives in Canada. That's my older sister.
mhm.
And I have sisters and one brother in the Republic of Congo.
Still okay.
Yeah, and I have cousins in, Paris.
Now, the brother that was in South Africa, is he still there or has he moved back to the Congo?
He moved back. He returned to Congo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been back. I think it's been more than 10 years
Okay. There
since he
you go.
returned to Congo. Yeah.
Huh.
So then, yeah, he tried to go back to South Africa. Didn't have the money,
Mhm.
but I think
Yeah.
now he's doing all right. I mean, there are people that let me down so much that I don't. I no longer deal with them.
So you're not close to the family in Congo currently?
We were very, very close, but you know, I appreciate genuine relationships.
Hmm.
Yeah, we close because I'm your blood, I'm your family, not because of what I can do for you.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
it's like that, then I'm going to pull away. Yeah,
Yeah. If it's more of like a using relationship rather than a
yeah,
one of respect. Yeah.
yeah,
And me. Yeah. No, I mean, and you know my story. I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm not very close to my family currently.
yeah,
Well, hopefully, I mean, it's repairing little by
yeah.
little. We're getting closer, which is nice. So,
I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah,
yeah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
you know, go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to change
No,
the subject.
I have a young cousin, and we always in conversation. He lives in Paris, and I often go and see him. and he's come to the US too. He's obsessed with Philadelphia, by the way. His favorite spot. So we talk a lot about relationships, and I tell him when it comes to relationships, irrespective of the nature of the relationship, reciprocity is the key.
Hmm.
You do for me, I do for you. I don't want a type of relationship where I'm the only one doing and you're doing nothing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
only come to me to take.
Well, and at the same time, and I mean,
Yeah.
I think you would agree with this, but I
Mhm.
think at the same time there is there is an ebb and flow in the sense that at certain periods in my life I might be primarily giving to you,
Mhm.
but at certain periods in our relationship you might be in a place to be able to give to me more. But over
Mhm.
time there has to be that mutual
Mhm.
support and exchange, not necessarily in every moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. You can also tell we all have this innate ability to read people, all of us.
Hmm.
But sometimes we fail to see the signs because maybe we're too distracted.
Hmm.
But you can tell that this person is genuine. Have you ever met somebody for the first time? You don't know anything about them. You don't
Hmm.
know them. But something tells you this person is trouble.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. So with
And
the Mhm. Go
and
ahead.
on the other side as well,
Yeah.
sometimes there's a number of people,
Mhm.
comparatively small perhaps, but there's a number of people as well that
Yeah.
instantly upon meeting them I'm like, this is a special person
Yeah.
that I want to have
To connect.
I
Yes.
want to connect with this person, and I
Yeah.
want this person to be part of my life. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Where I go to the I do martial arts. So where I go and train, there's a guy there, a gentleman. He's he's the best. Like his energy is so magnetic, and you want to be around him. He's so positive. I really
I love
love the
that.
guy.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the types of people. Remember, I was earlier. I was telling you about energies
Hmm.
and energy merging. Some people they come into when you are in their presence, just their energy, they just suck the energy out of you.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
when you leave, you're so exhausted.
Well, and have you felt it too, where sometimes you can be sitting in a room with your back, like maybe there's a few other people there, and your
Mhm.
back is to the door, perhaps,
Yeah,
but someone walks through the door and you can almost feel the temperature, the physical temperature in the room drop,
yeah,
you know?
yes,
Like it gets a little cooler and you can
yeah,
feel the negativity and you're like,
yes,
oh, so and so is here.
yes, yes,
What's interesting because one of the things, in like I don't want to say self-help, but like in success podcasts or success conversations about being your best self and everything, there's you've probably heard it said a lot that you become the five people around in your inner circle, the five people you spend the most time with, you
yeah,
start to become like. And I think a lot of times that's used to describe wealth and success in terms
hmm,
of like business or finance,
yeah,
and that like the people you surround yourself in that sense
yeah,
you will start to become. But I think it's even more important to protect that energy and make sure that the five people around you have that positive upbeat energy and everything like
yeah,
that that kind of
yeah,
presence in your life is even more important than the financial success, so to speak.
yeah. I mean, totally agree. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, um, one thing I've noticed about many people in this country. I mean, it's sad. People complain a lot. and they don't realize how blessed they are.
Yeah.
And take it from somebody that comes from a third world country.
Hmm.
In this country, if you want a job, you can look for a job, get a job, and if people have so much and they don't
Yeah.
realize it. Where I originate from, you want to find a job, you don't know people in the system, it's almost impossible to find a job, you know?
So just from like the corruption.
Yeah, the corruption, and there are not many opportunities.
Mm. So opportunities go to those who know somebody, not to
Yeah,
those
you
who.
know
Yeah.
somebody or you pay for it, you know?
Yeah.
But in this country, people have so much and they have access to so much, they don't even realize it. You have
Mm.
electricity, you have running water, things we take for granted.
That's true.
And people
Yeah.
don't realize it and they complain too much. So recently, that was about 3 weeks ago, I have a friend, Italian, and always complaining about everything. And I decided to step away to find myself the me from before that never, because he was beginning to affect me. I was beginning to complain also about
Hmm.
like him. So I had to create that distance to reconnect with myself and be grateful for the opportunities and the life I do have. And I feel way, way better. I'm
Yeah.
finding myself again, the me that is positive, the me that is uplifting instead of complaining.
Well, and it's interesting because there's a balance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
uh, if we have a good energy and we have a positivity towards life about us,
Mhm.
it's important for us to share that and to give that positive energy to have a positive impact on those around us. But
Mhm.
at the same point, at the same time, we have to understand and have the self-awareness to know when we need to pull back and recharge, so we're not just kind of depleting ourselves
Yeah.
by constantly overflowing until we're emptying, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden our positivity flips into something other, you know.
Yeah. But it's like when I'm trying, if you're my friend, right, and you come to me for advice, or you come to me to complain about something,
Hmm.
it's okay. We all human beings, sometimes we go through, yeah, situations or circumstances arise that lead us to complain. But, and then when I'm proposing solutions to you, then every solution you turn it into a
Hmm.
dead end thing. And then you come back with more problems. And I'm thinking
Well,
to myself, what's even the point?
yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like the difference between, and I wouldn't use the word complain in the
Mm,
in like in the sense of someone who's just there to complain, yes,
mm,
obviously, but in the sense of someone who's coming to just share a sorrow or share a difficulty.
mm.
There's a difference there when there's also receptivity where they are interested to hear what you have to say, and then the next time you see them, they don't share the same complaint again and again and again, you know. But there's
Yeah.
like a at least a interest in growth and things. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
um yeah. And then, so it's interesting kind of talking about like people that we encounter in our lives. One of the things we talked about before we started the stream here, kind of in this pre-stream conversation, was like sometimes we meet, we don't know, but we meet angels in our life. They come to see us, and we're visited by an angel in some way.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so
Mm. Yeah, big
that's
time.
it's a beautiful thing, you know. Sometimes the person who we think is a burden might actually be a blessing, you know.
Yes. Yes. Angels, they don't always appear in the format we envision them.
Mm.
Uh, they seldom appear with wings. They appear in different formats, and it is up to us to have an open mindset in order to see
Mm-hmm.
and then appreciate them when they show up in our lives. And I've met so many, and I'm sure I've also maybe failed to see a few
Yeah.
in my lifetime. But it's something that came to, thought that was stuck on my mind. Maybe one of your viewers needed that, but they don't always come in the format we envision them
Mm-hmm.
angels. So it's wise to have an open mind. You never know.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, no, there's a story that's very dear to my heart of when it was actually I know it was my guardian angel that came to visit me,
Mhm.
and they came in the very physical form, kind of similar to my mother actually,
Mhm.
kind of a little on the like maybe 5'4", 5'6", something like that.
Mhm.
um you know um kind of like a nice pleasant Midwest mother was the
Mhm.
vibe.
Mhm.
And I was working at a bookstore at the time, at at a church, and after mass, all the people come out of the church, and so I was toward the back of the bookstore,
Mhm.
kind of organizing and reshelving things. And I look up and I see all these people, dozens of people coming in to go kind of peruse the books. And there's this woman that I had never seen before. I'd worked there for over a year, never seen this woman before. She walked straight past all the books, past everybody else, and walked straight up to me. And she is like, "You're Jeremiah?" And I was like, "Yes, pleased to meet you." And she's like, "Are you discerning?" I was like, "Yes." Because at the time I was faced with a pretty substantial life decision, right? And I
Mhm.
was kind of praying about and trying to see where my path was, where God was leading me.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Do you know how to discern?" And in my head, I'm like, I mean, prayerfully, patiently, and in my head, right? And I'm like, "No, how do I discern?" And she's like, "Well, have you ever driven in the fog?" Okay. Yes. She's like, "What do you do with your brights? With your headlights in the fog? Do you turn your brights on?" I was like, "No, it'll blind you." She's like, "Okay, yes, you dim your lights." She's like, "So similarly, when you're discerning, don't overthink things. You have to dim the lights of your mind in humility and trust God to guide your path, and just lower the lights of your mind and just drive to the edge of the fog. Stay between the lines on the road. You're on a windy mountain road. You don't know where the next turn is, but if you humble your mind and just focus on the next step in your journey, just make sure that next step is between those lines. And you may not know the step after that until after you've made that next step, but then you'll never go wrong. One step at a time. Don't try to see too far ahead." And I'm telling you, that was 20 years ago almost.
Mhm.
And I remember it like yesterday to this day.
Mm. That's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now you've reminded me of something when I was in high school. Um, Somebody approached me in the street, a guy, and he spoke a word of prophecy over me. He said, "Oh, I see you will spend your life overseas,
Mm-hmm.
not in this country."
Hmm.
And I'm telling you this because I've seen it. You don't have to know my name, know where I live. I
Hmm.
just approached you to tell you this.
Hmm.
That was a long, long time ago.
And here you are.
I thought, this guy is probably, yeah, he's probably crazy out of his mind. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. How does he know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here I am. You know.
It's beautiful. Yeah. No, and I think that those little interventions, so to speak,
Mhm.
are far more common than I think most of us realize.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a matter of having an open mind, and like the angel said, humility. That is the key right there.
Hmm. And then what's interesting too is, so once you, um, so I think I told you, I've started reading a bit of philosophy with folks every morning, right?
Mhm.
And um, it's kind of a perspective. It's called Cup of Jonah. It's in the morning, kind of when people have their morning coffee, right?
Mhm.
But it's really neat because it's all the truths of the universe, starting with the creator. What can we know about the creator? What can we
Mhm.
know about the creation and everything? But
Mhm.
all of it is from, and then what can we know about creation's return to God?
Mhm.
But it's all from the perspective of, okay, let's what can we all together know from reason about all this? Because some have faith in the Old Testament, like the Jewish religion. Some have faith in the New Testament. Then so, but there's everybody. If we draw from those,
Mhm.
we don't. There's no common ground there but everybody has a mind and a soul and a heart and a will. And so, if we start from that common ground, we
Mhm.
can have meaningful conversations about all these things.
Mhm.
But anyways, one of the things toward the end of this first volume on God that we're not there yet, but it talks about providence, and even Aristotle talks about how God, because he's all powerful, he has all care over all the small details.
Mhm.
And the reason I mention this is because um, if God is all powerful and taking care of all the smallest details, then what all we need is the mind of faith. I'm not talking about religious faith. I'm talking about the faith in the creator, our relationship with the creator, to understand when things that seem random happen to us, to be able to see beyond the veil, the illusion of the superficial, to see beyond it, to understand the creator's purpose in what seems to be perhaps a meaningless interaction or happening or happenstance or circumstance, all of a sudden becomes a sign of love,
Mhm.
or a God wink, as a friend of mine always calls it, a God wink.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
kind of God, God is like, I love that.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's beautiful because then something that is mundane and maybe not important all of a
Yeah.
sudden takes on immense value.
Yeah. That is interesting. As far as God is concerned, the the relationship with God, God is the Father. God is the Creator. For example, you're a father. You have many children. Your relationship with each children is different.
Hmm.
Although, as a father, there is unconditional love towards all your children because they come from you. But you have a unique relationship with each one of them, and that's how I look at the relationship between God and man. So uh, the relationship you have with God is different from the relationship I have with God,
Hmm.
and so on for everybody. And then that is one of the things that I'm rediscovering, working on my relationship with the Creator.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
reading
it's beautiful.
reading books and observing, listening, learning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should check out Cup of Jonah in the morning. I think you'd love
yeah. Okay,
it.
I'll watch some of the episodes of that of that podcast. Yeah, the Cup of John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, since
mhm.
we're on the topic of podcasts, I want
Yeah,
people to be aware you have a podcast
yes.
called The Better You Now. So I
No.
just want I want to show people this for a moment so you guys can find Lazare here. Um, and he's just started pretty recently. And so
Yeah.
he's got his podcast going. So you guys can all go there. It's at KOLAZ 12 at on YouTube. So, but search "The Better You Now" and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Um, what's the heart behind what inspired you to start that podcast, and what kind of message was your heart, for lack of a better term, pregnant with, that you wanted to share with the world?
Yeah, it's encouraging people, motivating people, and sharing words of inspiration
Hmm.
with people so they don't quit, and also so they can, find, because we all have a better version of ourselves. Sometimes that better version gets lost in the burdens and the distractions and the noise of the world. So learn to switch off, to disconnect, to reconnect.
Hmm.
So it's mainly encouraging people, and that's what I like doing, even in real life. People I
Yeah,
meet wherever I go, I want to share a bit of sunshine with people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny actually, because that's part of why I really appreciate. We obviously we met at the Friday
Hmm.
Italian speaking happy hour at Friday evening, where we all
Yeah.
just kind of get together from all over the world to practice our Italian.
Yeah.
But then you started the
The,
Celeste,
yeah. Energia celeste.
Energia Celestis, which is heavenly energy. That's the
Yes.
translation.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's really what we do, is we share that
Yeah.
sunlight
Yeah.
and kind of deeper dive into kind of more spiritual or profound
Spiritual. Yeah. But you
conversations.
know how
Yeah.
that came about? Um, some people complained about other Italian groups.
Uh-huh.
They had too many members, and everybody wanted to speak at the same time. And they reached out to me complaining initially, and I told them we can create a podcast and design it the way we want it to be.
Hmm.
So that way we have enough practice. And when we go to the bigger groups, even if we don't have time to speak enough, at least every Sunday, we have our platform where we have a chance to speak without being interrupted. So that's how it started. And then I created it. And so far, it's going very well.
And one thing that's what is beautiful too,
Yeah.
obviously, the human element is wonderful because we're
Mhm.
talking about very heartfelt topics,
Mhm.
and there's a bond between all of us that's really
Yes.
beautiful because of that.
Yeah.
But it's also challenging from a linguistic standpoint,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
you're not just talking about, oh, how's the weather, what did you do, yada
Yeah.
yada, like the kind of more superficial conversation,
Yeah.
which is very easy. Um, but like to talk about some of the nuances of, like we're talking recently about silence, and when is silence helpful and when is it
Mhm.
toxic, when is it beneficial and when is it a weapon, when is it,
Yeah.
and so like all
It's
these
more in depth.
nuanced,
Mhm.
yeah, and so like when you get to like the nuanced, deeper philosophical conversations, that's challenging in a language that's not your native tongue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many languages do you know? I mean, ovviamente parli italiano.
Sì,
Eh, I'm
lo parlo.
and sono
Eh,
abituato a parlarti in italiano. So what I said, folks, is I said, obviously you speak Italian, and I'm used to speaking to you in Italian. And actually,
mhm.
we were laughing earlier.
Mhm.
We've spoken almost exclusively to Italian as long as we've known each other.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit
This is,
uncomfortable. Isn't the right word, but it's a little bit
it
different,
feels
awkward almost.
unnatural. It
Yeah,
feels unnatural.
it's true. It's true.
Like every time I see his face, I think Italian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're expecting the hand gestures too. Well, so how many languages? So you know Italian, obviously, English,
Yeah.
obviously,
Italian, English, French,
Francese. Uh-huh.
Spanish.
Okay.
And then at some point, I tried Portuguese, and I think I got distracted. I got way too lazy.
Yeah. Well, and I
Mm.
think once you know Spanish and
Mm.
Italian,
Mm.
Portuguese is kind of you can almost
In
just
between.
you can almost just mispronounce words in Spanish or Italian
Yeah.
and you're there, you know?
That's speaking Portuguese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so
But
what's the native tongue in the Congo?
so in the Republic of Congo, we have three official languages: French, because of French, they colonized Congo,
Yeah.
and we have Kikongo,
Okay.
which just means the language spoken by the people of Congo.
Ah, Kikongo. Okay.
Kikongo or Munukutuba literally means I speak. Munukutuba.
Munukutuba. Okay.
Yes, I speak.
Huh.
Or Kikongo, it's the same thing.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then we have Lingala.
Okay.
So three official languages, which are and
Lingala, where does that come from? Is that just the
Lingala is one of the Bantu based languages
Okay.
because my tribe is Bantu.
Okay.
Bantu is the root of our tribes, and you have
Got it.
many other tribes within the Bantu group of
Okay.
people. Yeah. So
So
it's
so how would I say thank you, brother, in
Matondo
Kitongo?
mingi mpangi ya munu. It's but when in conversational Kikongo, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
That is more formal.
I see.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Got it. That's good.
Yeah. In conversational, I would say kitoko mpangi. Kitoko
Kitokopang.
mpangi.
Got it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, languages are so wonderful. There's
Yeah.
you can tell a lot about a culture as well by
Mhm.
the language, the linguistic
Oh yes.
phenomena.
Yes.
Um, like one of my favorite, I mean, you know, from scripture, you know, the quote, for example, when our Lord says, where two or more are gathered in my name,
Yeah.
there I am in their midst.
Yeah.
It always was strange to me why it was two or more.
Mhm.
But then you realize that in Aramaic,
Mhm.
they had, so in English, we have singular and plural. So
Mhm.
it's me or we.
We yeah.
But in Aramaic, as well as in Hindi, they
Mhm.
have singular, dual, and plural.
Mm.
So they have a different case for dual
Mhm.
as they do plural, which to me is beautiful culturally because it's recognizing the difference between two people talking.
Mhm.
And in English, we have the phrase three's a crowd,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a thing. We
Yeah.
understand that dynamic, but it's not baked into the language in the same way.
Yeah.
Whereas in Aramaic, it is. It's
Mhm.
you know, you have to have a different case entirely for
Mhm.
just two people because it's a respect
Mm.
for that different level of intimacy when you have
Mhm.
just a one-on-one conversation versus
Mhm.
three, four, five, 10, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Languages. I've loved languages for a long time, but the funny thing is, with English, when I was in junior high school in the Republic of Congo, you study English as a second language. That's mandatory. Um, then the first year of studying English, I was skipping English classes with my friends. We would often say, "We will never go to England, so there is no point in studying this crazy language." So then, guess what happened in my second year of studying English? The teacher of English was my uncle. So I could no longer skip classes. No, I had to then study English. And I thank him so much for being rough and strict with me. And I ended up studying harder and I was able to learn and to speak English.
Well, and that way, when you met your lovely wife, you were able to converse with
If
her. There you go.
I didn't know English, we would have conversed in sign language.
There you go.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Well, you might have married a French woman then, and
I
then you'd really
highly-
be in trouble.
no, it's interesting how destiny destiny works. One's destiny,
Hmm.
And it was the Civil War. And from the Civil War, I ended up in South Africa as a refugee. And I hated being a refugee in South Africa
Hmm.
because of how, you treated.
Mm.
And then I was ready to return to Congo. Then I met my wife. And today I live here in the US. It's so crazy.
Well, what brought her from Michigan to South Africa?
She she completed a study. She graduated from college, and then she decided to travel to a foreign country by herself. You know,
Brave.
so yeah, she picked South Africa to
Huh.
do volunteer work in the town where I worked. I worked as a tour guide.
Okay.
Yeah, in a sanctuary. It's called Monkeyland. So we had about 16 types of primates:
Oh wow.
gibbons, lemurs, squirrel monkeys, capuchin monkeys. So they are in free in a forest, and around the forest there's a huge fence which is electrified. Yeah, it's a very very nice place where monkeys roam freely.
Wow.
And then before her last day in South Africa, she decided to go on tour to visit the parks around where she worked. So the park where I worked was one of those places she visited.
Wow.
And I happened to be the tour guide taking her and the other volunteers on tour.
There you go.
And that's how we connected
And it was the last day before she
before
left.
the last day. So today she came on tour, and then tomorrow she had to leave.
Wow.
So then we connected. We just had just a conversation. And then there was another volunteer that was having a birthday. It was on a Saturday, and I invited her. She came, and we just talked. And then she left. It was time for her to leave.
Uh huh.
We exchanged numbers, and then she left. She came back to the US, and then we kept corresponding, and we liked each other. And I told her we don't really know each other. So if you're really serious about this, you can come back to South Africa, stay with me for a while, and after that time, we both decide whether we like each other for real or not.
Mm-hmm.
And if we do, we can continue. If we don't, then because I cared about her family, how they would feel and everything. So I okay,
Yeah.
come back, and I could turn out to be a crazy person.
Well, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's amazing too. Like
yeah.
like we've been talking about, destiny, or if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that gut? Do you ever get a gut feeling in your life where you feel like a chapter is closing and another one is starting, but you don't know what the other one is necessarily? Like you just know
Yes.
that change is coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
when you need faith.
I
Let
feel that I
go.
feel that I
Mhm.
feel that right now.
Mm,
I feel like my time, and I live in Georgia right now, and I feel like my time in Georgia is coming to a close. I felt
mm,
the same way when I lived in Chicago before I ended up coming down here. I felt
mhm,
like for 6 to 8 months before I actually the opportunity opened up and I ended up moving. I just felt like
mm.
things are changing. I don't know
Yeah.
where I'm going yet. And
Yeah.
that's where faith comes in, like you said. I don't know where
Yeah.
this is taking me,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like there's going to be big changes in 2026. I think
Mm.
I feel, yeah, I feel like big changes are coming. So
Yeah.
good things, good things.
Yeah. And also trust your intuition and trust
Hmm.
that feeling. It's the the inner voice. We sometimes ignore it,
Hmm.
but I've learned to listen to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's actually interesting. it's not quite related to this, but
Mhm.
so I was in a monastery, right?
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of the folks watching know this as well. But one of the things I realized is that so I grew up in a very strict home as well. I didn't have to make any decisions.
Mhm.
It was all done for me, schedule, everything. When I was in a monastery, I felt like that was also kind of a obviously it was a beautiful thing. There were lots of sacrifices, obviously, yes, okay. But also it was easy because no, I didn't have to take responsibility for any decisions for myself.
Mhm.
I went where I was told. I dug the hole where I was told. I moved the pile of rocks when I was told. I prayed in church when I was told. I studied the books I was told. And
Mhm.
so like there was um almost a lack of perhaps a lack of courage and a lack of confidence in my own relationship with the creator to make my own decisions.
Mhm.
And so that when I left, I was challenged. Then that's when the challenge of actually taking ownership of my own walk
Mhm.
really became that was the challenge then.
Mhm.
And and that's been such a rewarding experience and very difficult in time at times.
Mhm.
But to have that relationship and to learn to trust your gut, to learn to understand and hear that voice like you were just referring to,
Mhm.
it's such an important
Mhm.
skill isn't the right word, but such an important sensitivity
Mhm.
to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? This makes me think of wisdom, the road to wisdom and spiritual maturity.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get there without going through challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So challenges are required um, before you can get to wisdom or to spiritual maturity. You have to
It's,
go through stuff.
it's the rite of passage. Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, I wish I could skip many steps and get there, but
Don't we all? Yeah.
I remember the
Yeah.
story of Jesus before he was crucified, the night before when
Mm-hmm.
he prayed and asked
Yeah.
him, the Father, to take it away, if he could take it away.
He's like, is there another way we can do this? Let this
Yeah.
cup pass. Yeah. No,
So,
it's true. And that's why, sometimes when people ask, so, I've been asked a number of times, or, if you could go back in your life and change one thing, what would it be? I wouldn't change a thing
mhm,
because I see it's kind of like a piece of music where you have dissonant chords that are resolved and the piece is more beautiful.
mhm,
It's like all of my mistakes and my errors, all of the trials and tribulations that I've been through, and I think everyone can say this,
mhm.
their life has it's changed them and it's
Yep.
changed who they are and they've grown
Mhm.
in different ways that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Find myself I find myself actually surprised that sometimes I say, I'm grateful that I went through the war. Thanks to that experience, it made me the person I am today.
Hmm.
But when I was going through it, I was cursing my existence.
Mm.
I was asking myself the question, why me? Why was I born?
Hmm.
Was I born just to be stuck in here and get killed?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But now in hindsight, I sometimes say, oh, thank you for the experience.
And what a beautiful thought that is too,
Mm,
because as we look back
mm,
to difficult times we've gone through, when
yeah,
something else confronts us, when we encounter something else,
yeah,
if we can look back at extremely impossibly difficult times that then
yeah,
the creator carried us through
yeah.
and helped us not only just survive but grow from that experience,
Hmm.
then it just produces such confidence when we encounter a new problem. We're
Yeah,
like, okay, this is for my growth as well. Yeah.
yeah. What you gain from it is strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gain strength and also a bit
S-
more wisdom. Yeah.
Strength, wisdom, and I would say also think when we go through things that are much bigger than us,
Mm-hmm.
but yet he carries us when we have no one to rely on but
Mm-hmm.
the creator, the
Mm-hmm.
father.
Mm-hmm.
When we come on at the other side, we realize, we're small. These things are too big for us, but we
Mm-hmm.
have our Lord, we have God to rely on.
Yeah.
And so there's that humility of we understand how powerless we are and how much we depend on him.
Yeah. And we are never alone. Never.
Amen.
And
Amen.
that's what I like that because I miss my parents. They're
Yeah.
not here anymore. But knowing that we are never alone,
Hmm.
that gives me a lot of that gives me consolation and confidence to keep going.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I feel like we could talk for hours.
That's right.
I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with all of us, with me tonight. And
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Um, any
Like.
final thoughts for the people watching that you'd like to share? Kind of parting
Mhm.
nugget of wisdom, or we.
Mm. I For the people watching, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this podcast. And what I would like to share with everyone is unconditional love. That's the foundation of everything, in my opinion. And if you have unconditional love, you practice it, you will not go wrong. And
Amen.
unconditional love is the light this world needs to become a better place. If many of us, or the majority of the people in this world, have unconditional love, most of the problems that we face worldwide will just dissipate
Mhm.
in a second, just like that.
Mhm.
So that is, the message I want to share with everybody.
I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lazar.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the
Mhm.
conversation. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom and life experience.
Mhm.
And for the folks watching, um, unconditional love, I fully agree. It's beautiful. And it goes beyond social media. It goes beyond, it's sometimes it's just a phone call, but loving those around you and being present to them in their lives is a beautiful thing. Don't forget, please check out Lazar's YouTube channel, The Better You Now, as he continues to go on his journey of podcasting. Want to support him there, and then of course, as always, reminder to share and check out also the Phone Booth Podcast .substack.com. But once again, Lazar, much love, brother, and I appreciate you taking your time this evening.
Yeah. Thank you. Grazie mille.
Grazie mille anche a te.
Ci
Ciao ciao.
rivediamo.
Vediamo presto.
Grazie. A
Ciao
presto. Un abbraccio. Ciao.
anche a te.
Thank you.